Marta woke up early every morning, even before the sun rose over the mountains. In the small town where she lived, the silence of the dawn was broken only by the soft sound of the kettle boiling water for her coffee. The aroma that filled the kitchen, with its bitter yet comforting notes, was the first solace of the day. For Marta, coffee had always been more than just a drink. It was a sacred ritual, a companion on lonely mornings after retirement. It was during the coffee-making process that she organized her thoughts, planned her day, and, of course, reminisced about the past. At 65 years old, the beverage had been part of her life for decades. But what she didn't know was that this long-standing habit was helping her in ways beyond sensory pleasure. One morning, while reading an article from a scientific magazine that her grandson had left during his last visit, Marta was surprised to discover some things about her beloved coffee. The article cited studies showing that regular coffee consumption, in moderate amounts, could have significant long-term health benefits. Curious, Marta kept reading, impressed by the data. First, she discovered that coffee is one of the largest sources of antioxidants in the Western diet. Rich in polyphenol, the drink helps fight free radicals, substances that cause cellular aging. This means that, beyond providing energy, coffee could be helping protect her cells from damage over the years. Studies showed that regular coffee drinkers had up to a 30% reduced risk of developing diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Marta was surprised to learn that her still-sharp memory might be helped by the coffee she drank every day. Additionally, the article mentioned that coffee could also be beneficial for the heart. Research points out that moderate consumption of 3 to 4 cups a day may reduce the risk of heart disease by up to 15%. This is because coffee helps improve blood vessel function, facilitating blood circulation and reducing inflammation in the body. Marta, who had always been concerned about her blood pressure, was relieved to learn that her habit was not only not harming her cardiovascular health but was actually protecting it. Another point that caught Marta's attention was the connection between coffee and longevity. According to the article, people who drink coffee regularly tend to live longer. A study published in the New England Journal of Medicine showed that coffee consumption was associated with lower mortality from various causes, including respiratory diseases, diabetes, and even some forms of cancer. Coffee, with its bioactive compounds, played a role in preventing many chronic diseases that tend to manifest with aging. But, like everything in life, the key was balance. The article warned that too much coffee could cause side effects, such as insomnia, anxiety, and increased blood pressure, especially in people more sensitive to caffeine. Marta, always careful, reflected on the amount of coffee she drank each day. It was usually 3 cups, a morning cup, one after lunch, and a final one in the late afternoon while she read a book. It seemed to be just right. With the steaming cup in hand, Marta looked out the window. The day was slowly dawning, with the sky tinged in pink and orange. She smiled, thinking about how that simple habit, which brought so much comfort, was also doing good to her body in ways she never imagined. The coffee that had accompanied her on cold mornings, tired days, and long conversations with friends now held even more meaning. As she took the first sip, Marta felt not only the familiar flavor but also a sense of gratitude. Grateful for all the years that ritual had brought her serenity, knowing that it would continue to bring her many years of healthy life. And as the world awoke around her, Marta allowed herself to live in that moment, certain that even in small routines, there could be great benefits. And so, she continued to savor her coffee, now with the awareness that, besides nourishing her soul, it was also nurturing her body. After all, as Marta discovered that morning, science could also be as sweet as the aroma of fresh coffee in the kitchen. To keep following all of my videos, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell. That way, you won't miss any updates and will help me bring more amazing content just for you. Marta, after reading that article mentioning the benefits of coffee, became curious. She had always known that coffee was part of her routine and helped her start the day with energy, but now she wanted to understand more deeply about the beverage that had accompanied her for so many years. Determined to learn, she spent days researching coffee, and the discoveries surprised her. She started with the basics. Coffee originates from the coffea plant, and the 2 most popular varieties are Coffea arabica, Arabica coffee, and Coffea canephora, commonly known as Robusta. Arabica coffee is milder and more aromatic, while Robusta has a stronger flavor and a higher caffeine content. Always a fan of subtle flavors, Marta realized that she preferred Arabica, but understood that Robusta was a more accessible option for those seeking an extra energy boost. She also became fascinated by the history of coffee. Coffee was discovered in Ethiopia when a goat herder noticed that his animals became more energetic after eating the fruits of the coffee plant. This extra energy caught attention, and the consumption of the beverage spread across the Middle East, Europe, and eventually around the world. The journey of coffee across the globe fascinated Marta, who recalled her own travels and how she always found a hot cup of coffee, no matter which country she visited. Next, Marta delved into the more scientific aspects. She learned that coffee is composed of hundreds of chemical compounds, with caffeine being the most famous. She already knew that caffeine is a natural stimulant that enhances alertness and helps reduce fatigue. But what Marta didn't know was that caffeine works directly on the brain by blocking adenosine, a neurotransmitter that promotes relaxation and the feeling of sleepiness. With less adenosine circulating, the brain becomes more awake, increasing levels of dopamine and norepinephrine, two neurotransmitters linked to mood and attention. Brain health was one of the topics that most intrigued Marta. She discovered that studies indicate that regular coffee consumption is associated with a lower risk of developing neurodegenerative diseases, such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Marta learned that the protection comes from both caffeine and the antioxidants present in coffee, which help reduce inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain. This meant that her daily habit was not only keeping her alert now but also protecting her in the long term, preventing cognitive decline as she aged. Beyond brain health, Marta was impressed by coffee's impact on metabolism. Coffee can increase the metabolic rate by up to 11%, something that made her smile, thinking about how the drink had been secretly helping maintain her energy and control her weight. This happens because caffeine stimulates the release of adrenaline, which helps burn fat and improve physical performance. Many athletes, in fact, use coffee as a natural pre-workout. Marta, who used to walk every morning, felt that her cup of coffee before her walk was indeed making a difference. But what surprised Marta the most were the benefits of coffee for heart health. Although coffee had long been viewed with suspicion regarding blood pressure, she discovered that recent studies showed that moderate coffee consumption could reduce the risk of heart disease. A Harvard University study that Marta read closely suggested that drinking 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day was associated with a 15% lower risk of premature death, especially from causes such as heart disease, strokes, and type 2 diabetes. This occurs because coffee improves blood vessel function, reduces inflammation, and helps regulate blood sugar levels. The role of coffee in preventing type 2 diabetes was another point that caught Marta's attention. The beverage helps improve insulin sensitivity and regulate blood glucose levels. This reassured her, as she became more aware of the risks of this disease with advancing age. Additionally, she read that decaffeinated coffee offers many of the same benefits, especially when it comes to diabetes prevention and heart health, meaning coffee could be beneficial even without caffeine. Another interesting area for Marta was coffee's impact on liver health. Research showed that people who regularly consume coffee had up to an 84% lower chance of developing cirrhosis, especially alcoholic cirrhosis. Coffee was also linked to a lower risk of liver cancer. The drink helped reduce inflammation and improve liver enzymes, which was particularly important to Marta, who had always been careful to maintain healthy habits to preserve her organs. Lastly, Marta discovered that coffee could bring benefits to mental health. In addition to helping combat mild depression by increasing dopamine levels in the brain, studies indicated that coffee was also linked to a reduction in suicide risk by up to 45%. The beverage had a protective effect, especially in older adults, helping stabilize mood and providing a sense of well-being. But of course, Marta also found warnings. Excessive coffee consumption, more than 6 cups a day, could cause side effects like anxiety, palpitations, and even insomnia. It was a reminder that although coffee offered many benefits, balance was key. She also learned that people with caffeine sensitivity needed to be more cautious, as did those who already had high blood pressure issues. At the end of her journey of studies, Marta was more in love with coffee than ever. Not only because the beverage was part of her life, but because she now understood how much coffee was benefiting her body and mind. With moderation and awareness, her morning coffee was not just a pleasure but a true ally for healthy aging. As Marta delved even deeper into her studies about coffee, she stumbled upon something surprising, something that seemed almost hidden among the countless research papers. It was a recent article from a small group of scientists at a little-known university that suggested an unexpected discovery. Coffee could directly influence cellular regeneration, particularly in the brain. Marta read carefully, almost in disbelief. For decades, it was believed that the human brain, after a certain age, could no longer easily create new neural cells. But the study showed that in tests with rats, a chemical compound found in coffee, known as trigonelline, had the ability to stimulate neurogenesis, the process of forming new brain cells. This substance, already known for giving coffee its slightly bitter taste, had never been explored in such depth before. The most interesting part was that the effect only occurred with regular coffee consumption over time. Scientists were still investigating how this could be applied to humans, but the idea that such an everyday beverage could not only protect the brain from decline but also help in the creation of new cells was revolutionary. Marta was ecstatic with the discovery. She knew that coffee had many benefits, but the idea that it could contribute to brain regeneration opened doors to future treatments for degenerative diseases. It was as if that cup of coffee she enjoyed every day carried an ancient secret, one that was only now beginning to be revealed by science. Now I want to hear your thoughts on today's video. Leave your comment below, and don't forget to support with a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. See you in the next video.